y'all, and welcome to another episode of Natural Remedies Coach with me, Lovely. So on today's episode, we are going to talk about natural remedies for arthritis. So I'm pretty sure that most of you know what arthritis is, but just in case you don't, it's basically stiffness, pain, and inflammation of the joints. And that can be any joint in your body. So you can get arthritis in a couple of different ways. You can get it from infections or underlying diseases. So I've heard of people getting arthritis because of psoriasis and lupus and things like that. You can get it from general wear and tear, and it also can have like a genetic component to it as well. So you can basically kind of inherit it. Now, the top two arthritis that affect the most people are going to be osteoarthritis. And that's just general wear and tear. That's why you typically see it in our elders, because they've been around longer than everybody else and they've been using their joints longer than anybody else. And then the second arthritis that affects most people is rheumatoid arthritis. So I was 6 years old when I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, which is actually an autoimmune disorder. It centers around us having what's called a permeable bowel. It's also known as leaky gut syndrome. And basically that means you have little bitty holes in your bowels. And when you eat food, sometimes the proteins get out of the bowels on its way to digestion, and they tend to congregate around your joint areas. And because they're not supposed to be there, they cause problems. Your body thinks they're a foreign invader, and it starts to attack itself. It can cause inflammation, stiffness, it can shorten your range of motion, and sometimes you even get fevers and you have to rest for a while before you get to feeling better. So the way I was diagnosed was I had 9 grandparents growing up, and we were visiting one of my grandmothers in the hospital who also happened to be the one who has rheumatoid arthritis, who I most likely inherited this from. And I was sitting in bed with her, and her doctor came in to examine her. And I had been telling the grown-ups, hey, my knees hurt, I think I have arthritis like my granny. I'm pretty sure I have arthritis, my knees hurt. And so I thought, now's my chance. I'm gonna tell this doctor and everything's gonna be okay. And so I told him, and I think he was humoring me at first, but when I started describing the pain and explaining to him how sometimes I had to sit and rest when I was playing because it started to hurt, and it felt better when I rested, and what was going on, and I heard him talk to my parents going, hey, I think you need to take her in. She probably does have arthritis. This is her granny. She has arthritis. My grandmother's hand was always like this. She's never had the full range of motion, at least as far as I know. For the past 40 years, I've only seen her hand like this. She can't open jars. She can't write. She can drive and things like that, but it just makes her life more difficult. So, fast forward to when I'm 21 years old, and that's when arthritis, my rheumatoid, started really giving me problems. And that's fairly typical. It affects women more. It starts to bother them in their early 20s. There's not a whole bunch of conclusions as to why that happens, but that's what typically happens. And I was no different. Around the same time, I also started working at a health food store, which was very fortunate because that is where I began to understand the role that diet and exercise, as well as supplements, played in helping me to put my rheumatoid arthritis into a remission and just to feel 10 times better than I ever did before I started making these kind of connections. So if you don't do anything else but change your diet and improve the way you eat, and you never exercise or you never take a supplement or anything like that, you will feel better, period. And the reason why that is because a lot of Western diets are full of foods that are pro-inflammatory. The typical Western diet is full of foods that cause inflammation. Carbonated beverages, refined foods, artificial ingredients, and processed foods are no bueno when it comes to trying to stop inflammation. And when you have rheumatoid arthritis, you do not need any extra help with the inflammation at all. So on top of improving your diet, eating better makes the supplements and the exercise way more effective. Consider that your foundation, and if you have a good foundation, you can build lots of things on top of it. If you have a shaky foundation, what you're building is not going to be as sufficient. So diet is the first place that you have got to start, and you're going to feel better right away. The next component in your arthritis natural remedies is going to be supplements. Now, there's lots and lots of studies out there that show that people who have arthritis are deficient in a lot of different vitamins and minerals. And especially if you have rheumatoid arthritis, you're not absorbing a lot anyway. So what these supplements are going to do is they are going to help with the pain and the inflammation, and they're going to help bridge a lot of the nutritional gaps that are found in people who have arthritis. One of the best things that supplements can do, especially for people with rheumatoid, is it can really help your body have a more healthy response to inflammation. People who have rheumatoid arthritis have a 50% greater chance of developing heart disease, period. You don't have to behave in any of those risk factors. Like, you don't have to smoke, you don't have to drink, you don't have to eat a lot of red meat or any of that kind of thing. You just have rheumatoid arthritis, be minding your own business, and bam! You got heart disease. And you don't even get to do any of the stuff that gets you heart disease in the first place. That really makes me mad. So with these supplements, you can counteract some of those effects and decrease your chance of developing heart disease. So that's my basic arthritis story. Be sure and subscribe so you don't miss out on updates, because I'm going to get into the nitty-gritty of what to eat and how to cook it, and what exercises are best for people with arthritis, and which supplements have helped me personally and all the people that I've helped throughout the years. Now I want to hear from you. Have you tried any natural remedies for your arthritis, and did they work? Leave a comment below so we can start the discussion. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and spread it all over the internet. Let's share the health, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye! Have rheumatoid arthritis, be minding your own business, and bam, you got heart disease.